This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, on this lovely Monday, February the 10th of 2025, day 41st of the year, and only 324 days left to go. As we are broadcasting from our Safety FM studios, we're also hanging out with our friends over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration, radio big, kind of the combination of things that we do. So let's talk. How are you? How's it been? Did you stay up late last night? Some people were saying there was some bowl game thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you're into that, so I can't really say if you were up late or not. Hopefully the last 24 hours or even the more, because, you know, we came off the weekend, that things have been good for you. A lot of things always going on inside of the multiverse, because that's what happens around here. So as we are talking, if you do not know, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's really what it boils down to. If you want to interact with our show, it's a very simple process. You go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That'll get you moving and grooving in regards to what needs to happen. Once you get there, it'll give you the option of video, audio, and text messaging. Those are the options of things to do. So as we go through all of that, what are the options you want to go through? I mean, I always ask that. Anyways, we have some professional broadcasters that come in here and they start talking about everything that's going on. U.S., worldwide, you know, that kind of stuff. Because we think it's important. Some people always go, well, why are you talking about news and not talking about news that is only related to safety? Well, number one, that sounds boring as shit. And number two, well, you need some other things to talk about besides just the safety stuff. Some people get very frustrated that I say that, but it's real. I mean, I'm sure today a lot of you will be talking about the Super Bowl. Just kind of how it goes. And then from that particular point on, you'll go into your other stuff, just kind of the way that it happens. I say this because if I just started talking about some kind of thing that's going on with safety and not talk about anything else, people are not really probably going to care too much. So that's it. So with that being said, let's start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight, because I have a funny feeling I have some good ideas of what it was.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, notable and noteworthy, the plan to find a buyer for TikTok gets a prominent lead. Also, Marcus Jordan. Yeah, you know, that incident that happened last week. Well, he enters a plea this week. Or enters a plea, better saying. Inmates celebrate the Super Bowl and more. We'll talk about that as we get into show business. Also, no new Bachelorette, and Denzel Washington struggles to enunciate. We'll talk about that in casting details. Also, President Trump brings some closure to the saga of Prince Harry's visa application. And that's pretty much it. So we'll get all that stuff started here in just a moment. If you're ready, I will bring in my friends from Feature Story News for them to tell you what the hell was going on inside of the news. So if you're good, I'm good, and I think we should get it all started right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Donald Trump says he'll announce a new 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports on Monday. It comes as the US president ramps up his threats to impose duties on multiple countries as a way to reduce the US trade deficit. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
There are fears now of a spiralling trade war, with Donald Trump telling reporters on Sunday on board Air Force One that on Monday he'll be announcing a new tariff, 25% on any steel and aluminium entering the United States. And he promised an announcement on reciprocal tariffs on Tuesday or Wednesday, saying it would apply to every country, adding very simply, if they charge us, we charge them.
China's imposed retaliatory tariffs on the US, hitting around $14 billion worth of goods. It's dashed hopes that a trade war between the world's two largest economies could be avoided. Beijing announced the tariffs last week in response to a US decision to impose an additional 10% levy on Chinese products. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
China's measures target US exports of liquefied natural gas, coal, crude oil and farm equipment, as well as some automotive goods, with levies of 10 to 15%. Delaying the start of the tariffs and the targeted approach by Beijing had been seen as creating space for negotiations to try to avert a wider trade conflict. But when the deadline passed on Sunday, there was no news of a deal, and Beijing announced the tariffs were in effect. Trump had suggested he would talk with Chinese President Xi Jinping, but after China retaliated, he said he was in no rush and that the tariffs were an opening salvo with very substantial measures to come.
Ecuador's presidential election will go to a runoff after the first round result didn't produce an outright winner. Electoral authorities say there was a technical tie between incumbent centre-right Daniel Noboa and left-wing challenger Luisa González. Keir Starmer has become the first UK Prime Minister to have an HIV test in public. He took one at Downing Street in an attempt to destigmatise being checked for the virus. Keir Starmer says the British government hopes no one will be diagnosed with HIV in England by the end of the decade.
The ambition is 2030, so not far off now, to get to a position where there are no new cases. And that will be an absolute game changer and really change so many lives. So we want to get there. Testing is part of the way to get there, because the more we know, the more people who come forward, the more people who've got HIV but don't know come forward through the testing, then the better we can hit that target. And that will be a very, very significant target. So we're doing everything we can to hit that target.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, a view from overseas of the gutting by President Donald Trump and Elon Musk of the US Agency for International Development, USAID. The provider of more than 40% of the total global budget for humanitarian assistance and development aid, it is mothballed, though a federal judge on Friday issued a temporary restraining order that prevents the White House from laying off its 10,000 members of staff. President Trump claims, without providing evidence, that fraud was committed at USAID. Mr. Musk argues it was wasting taxpayer money on woke causes. Michael Keating is a professor of international economy at Richmond American University, London, and says the agency's shutdown is impacting American companies and employees disproportionately.
US aid is dispersed by private sector companies employing a lot of Americans. These private companies are laying workers off now. And you're hearing that they don't really want to pick fights over these what are potentially breaches of contract, because they also get other sorts of government contracts and they don't want to be on the radar of the Trump administration. So they're just firing American workers, basically.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is now tasked with evaluating USAID's programs to determine whether they align with President Trump's national security priorities. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Donald Trump says he'll announce a new 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports on Monday. China's imposed retaliatory tariffs on the US, hitting around $14 billion worth of goods. Ecuador's presidential election will go to a runoff after the first round result didn't produce an outright winner, and Keir Starmer's become the first UK Prime Minister to have an HIV test in public. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, here we are, 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday and doing the thing that we get to do. No doubt about that. So let's start talking about all the interwebby stuff that we need to cover, because that is kind of what happens. Anyways, update with another deadline looming to settle the TikTok's fate, this time on April the 5th. President Trump has tapped Vice President J.D. Vance to spearhead negotiations for the sale alongside with the National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Vance has proposed ties to has professional ties, let me rephrase that, to Silicon Valley investors types in his previous career. Multiple companies and investment groups have put up informal bids and expressed interest in acquiring the platform. True to form, the president has thrown multiple ideas out there, including the federal government owning stake in TikTok, with Trump says that would make it the potential of a $1 trillion company. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. So what do you think? Would you want your TikTok to have government involvement? And what do you think will happen with the sale? I only ask this question because I don't know if you've looked around, but people are selling phones with TikTok on it online for about $3,000. That's one. And then the second part is that if you have your updater on some phones, I don't know if they're doing it with all, to auto update, that it will actually take out your TikTok because it no longer exists on the app stores. So I don't know. Not my cup of tea. I'm just telling you what's being reported. So there you go. Anyways, a man traveling by train through France says that he was fined more than $200 for using the speakerphone to chat with his sister in public. The traveler, identified as the local media as David, says that he was waiting at a train stop in the French town of Nantes, having a phone conversation when officials from the state-owned rail service approached him and threatened to fine him if he didn't take the phone off a speaker. David thought that she was joking and carried on. That's when she was slapped with a $200 ticket. Apparently, since he refused to pay it on the site, he's facing additional penalties. David says that he's getting a lawyer to fight the fine. This is according to CNN Travel. Sounds different, that's for sure, but it kind of gets that nuisance out of the whole thing as we are talking. Worth noting, Europeans have a knack for finding reasons to find passengers. Germany and Berlin especially has a convoluted system for traveling on their trains that requires passengers to both buy a ticket and have it validated on a punch card system. Ticket takers have no sympathy for travelers who didn't know any better either, speaking from experience. Just saying. What do you think? What do you think? I don't know. I mean, I guess some stuff you have to know or look into before you start traveling. I mean, it's not like traveling anywhere else. If you get to a border, if you get to another country via a flight, and you're about to off-board, and all of a sudden you don't have the right paperwork, they're not going to let you in. I guess there's some similarities there, depending on how you look at it, but what the hell do I know?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so Kelsey Ballerini ended a recent concert early and postponed a couple of future shows due to illness. She apologized to fans on Instagram after cutting the show short in Buffalo last week because she wasn't feeling well. In her apology, the Ballerini said that the show and two others stops will be rescheduled. I will make them the best shows I've ever played in my whole life, she continued. This is according to Entertainment Weekly. So there you go. Also, Rob Mahoney says the two of them are, hold on, says two of the items of one of his sons packed when evacuating their Los Angeles home was a football signed by all of the Philadelphia Eagles and Tom Brady football card. Yeah, I'm almost broke my heart that this kid, out of all the things, would be Brady's card. Really? He quipped during People in a 10, an interview that he had done. Of course, Rob has two sons, 14-year-old Axel Lee and the other one, 12-year-old Leo Gray. No word on which one grabbed the memories. This is according to People magazine, so there you go. In some other information for you, there won't be a new season of Bachelorette airing this summer. No word on why ABC isn't filming one and when the series will return. The 21 seasons ended with the Bachelorette Jen Tran choosing Devin Trader, who then ended their engagement via phone call. Meanwhile, spinoff Bachelor in Paradise returns this summer after a 2-year hiatus. Is that important? I guess it's important. Anyways, a property totally destroyed in Los Angeles. Wildfire sold within hours of hitting the markets last week, making it the first sale of a parcel devastated by fires. The realtor for the property located in Los Angeles says that the owner used the home as an investment property and isn't going to bother it with a reconstruction. For the interested buyer, the lot offers a flat, buildable area, which is difficult to find in Los Angeles. The $449,000 selling price was well above asking. The development comes as the area homeowners have been organizing to inhibit the sale of ruined properties due to investors and developers. This is according to CBS Los Angeles. So what do you think? It's going to get interesting over there. I mean, it's going to get even more interesting on what people are going to do because, man, it's a weird time out there. Because what are you supposed to do with that area? I mean, there's going to be 10,000 questions that come out of it. I mean, no doubt whatsoever when we're talking about it.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, signs of the time. Police in Seattle are investigating another egg heist after crooks made off with a cafe supply of some 500 eggs, plus an assortment of bacon, ground beef, blueberries, and liquid eggs. Liquid eggs. That sounds disgusting. Okay. Police arrived in West Seattle early Wednesday morning last week when someone reported suspicious activity in the area, including 2 men in an outdoor refrigerator shed at odd hours. Yeah. The cafe says that there's about $780 worth of product. This is according to Como News. The robbery follows a larger heist for some 100,000 eggs that occurred in Pennsylvania last week. I mean, how expensive are eggs getting these days? We're having egg heist. I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding of stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, I was talking to my wife last night, and we're talking about eggs somehow. That's how the conversation goes. And she's telling me that 60 eggs was like $30 some odd. And I was like, wow, I guess things have changed. I don't know if it's good, bad, or worse, but it's one of those things.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so a Sydney man named David Steen. Yeah, David Steen. He got the shreds watching more than 100 venomous red-bellied black snakes be removed from a pile of mulch in his backyard. The silvery serpent were captured by an employee from the reptile relocation in Sydney, who told the AP that the number of snakes was a very rare occurrence. In total, 5 adults and 97 offsprings were relocated. Unlike most snakes, the red-bellied black snakes give birth instead of laying eggs, and can have a litter of 4 to 35 younglings at one time. Steen, who was informed that the snakes could return in the mulch pile again next year, said that it would be gone within a couple of days. This is according to AP. I hope they don't charge by the snake, because that would suck in regards to that. Anyways, take a listen to this. Tony Roberts has died. He passed away on Friday as a result of complications from lung cancer, according to a statement from his daughter. Roberts is best known for his role in Annie Hall, starring alongside Woody Allen. He was 85 at the time of his passing. Let's talk about this weekend in the box office, because some people care about that stuff still. At number 10 was Moana 2 with $1.5 million. At number 9 was Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with $1.7 million. And number 8 was Flight Risk with $2.6 million. And number 7 was Becoming Led Zeppelin with $2.62 million. Let's see. What else? At number 6, One of Them Days, $3 million. And number 5 was Companion with $3 million. And number 4 was Mufasa with $3.9 million. And number 3, Love Hurts. Well, no shit. At $5.8 million. At number 2 was Heart Eyes with $8.5 million. And at the number 1 spot was Dogman. Yep, Dogman with a total of $13.7 million. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about some other things. If you have not heard, there is a new president in the U.S. Things have changed a little bit since then. The lawfare campaign to try to stop President Trump's agenda continues. The multiple judges delaying fast-moving executive orders to cut wasteful government spending and reduce the size of the scope of government. A U.S. district judge in New York has issued a ruling of temporary suspending access to the Treasury Department files for Elon Musk and Doge staffers, and even technically the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trump himself. All were personally named in the lawsuits filed by 19 state attorney generals, arguing that Musk and Doge staffers do not have legal authority to access the data, that they're not technically government employees. But wait, they are. Musk took a role in an unpaid White House staffer to avoid the legal technicality, and Doge office came to be after Trump issued an executive order renaming the technology office that already existed. Musk correctly pointed out on X, how on earth are we supposed to stop fraud and waste on taxpayers' money without looking into how money is spent? All Doge work with Treasury data and is temporarily suspended until at least the hearing on Friday. Meanwhile, another U.S. district judge temporarily paused the layoffs at the USAID or USAID or US whatever. Call it whatever the hell you want. USAID. There you go. Until the hearing on Friday. The judge's reasoning is that laying off government employees would cause irreparable harm. The Trump administration said that last week its goal was to trim the agency's headcount from 10,000 to 611 essential employees. Okay, so why didn't a single judge stop the pandemic lockdown and massive layoffs for non-essential workers in 2020 based on irreparable harm that it caused? That was a question from one of the editors. So I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of an interesting question. I mean, let's not lie here in regards to what it is. So there you go. Also, take a listen to this. A CBS News poll. YouGov poll shows that 59% of Americans approve of mass deportation and 64% approving sending troops to the southern border. Overall, Trump has earned 53% approval rating during his first few weeks on his second term, the highest ever measured by CBS News. The Pentagon is expanding the media rotation, according to what they're saying, kicking out 4 more legacy media outlets that have previously enjoyed full-time office and camera space. Out is New York Times, Washington Post, NBC, CNN, Politico, The Hill, The War Zone, and NPR. In is New York Post, Washington Examiner, OAN, Newsmax, Huffington Post, The Free Press, The Daily Caller, and Breitbart. Every year, the outlets have full access to the Pentagon facilities and will be rotated out. All outlets can still get credentials in the meantime. So there you go. Also, President Trump has named himself as the chair of the Kennedy Center on the Truth Social. Trump promised the Kennedy Center is an American jewel and must reflect the brightest stars on its stage from all across the nation. For Kennedy Center, the best is yet to come. Trump revoked the former President Joe Biden security clearance on Friday and has ended Biden's daily intelligence briefing. In a Truth Social post, Trump said that the following President Biden said it is revoking Trump's own security clearance in 2021. Trump also pointed out that the Hur report revealed that Biden suffers from poor memory and even in his prime and could not be trusted with sensitive information. In other words, I think that he wrote, "You're fired," is how it's listed on here. Also, he yanked security clearance for New York Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, 2 of the key players of the various lawsuits brought against Trump between his terms, and the former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. So I don't know. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Don't know what to tell you when I take a look at it. Anyways, let's talk about the numbers. The Dow lost 444 points to close at 44,303 on Friday. The S&P lost 57 points to close at 6,025, and the Nasdaq lost 268 points to close at 19,523. West Texas Intermediate closed at $71 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $74 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.13 on Sunday, and Bitcoin was mostly flat over the weekend, trading around $96,600 on Sunday. What else? Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for a $110 million jackpot or a $50.2 million cash payout, and tonight's drawing will be for a $142 million jackpot or a $65.6 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, it's your opportunity to do so, to say the least. I mean, what else would I be saying? I mean, I don't know what else to say, but there you go. Some stuff going on. Anyways, it's already past that time, so let's go ahead and get it started with what we call our main story, because, hey, why wouldn't we do it?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. We talked about it briefly last week, and some people wanted to kind of get reiterated with it, so let's talk about it. So in a move that has raised the alarms among safety experts and workers across the nation, there is a growing push to abolish OSHA. The federal agency has been in the cornerstone in protection of the workers' rights and safety standards since the inception back in 1971. Advocates for its dismantling argue that the agency imposes burdensome regulations on businesses, sitting growth and innovation. However, critics of the movement are warning that eliminating OSHA would put millions of American workers at risk and potentially leading to an increase of workplace injuries. Now, there's a lot of questions that are coming up when it comes to this. There is a lot of stuff that is being talked about in regards of regs. There's a lot of questions that is being brought up. There are a lot of answers that people don't have yet because this is still ongoing. So, I think that we should dive into the debate surrounding the future of OSHA. And the funny part is, there's not a lot of expertise on what is going to happen here. Because there's people out there that believe that the agency's oversight is crucial for enforcing safety standards, especially in the high-risk industries, such as construction, manufacturing, and healthcare. And then we'll have to take a look at this and go, okay, is this a political move? Is there a political motivation behind the push to abolish OSHA, including the influence of business lobbyists and broader ideology debate about the role of government in regulating stuff? I mean, think about it real quick. Why all of a sudden such a huge push for this? Do you think that it's lobbyists? And I mean, what is the benefit here of this going on? Because, I mean, I will tell you, this has been going on since January, beginning of January, if you kind of look at it. So, the question has become, how are you going to hold these standards? What are you going to do? So, should you talk to your employees, your industry leaders, your safety professionals about what their thought process is if this was to be dismantled? Because the other portion that you need to do, if you haven't done so already, is talking about alternative solutions that might exist to ensure that the worker safety without the current framework if everything was to change. And then you can have this other great portion to talk about. Should small businesses and businesses in general be trusted to self-regulate? Or is government oversight still necessary to protect the health and well-being of the American workforce? There's a lot of stuff to think about in this one. Because we can sit here and talk about this and go, okay, but here's what I would propose. Why not take a look at what you would do if the whole thing goes away? And the other reason that I mentioned this is because you and I have had this conversation before about self-regulation and having higher standards than what OSHA would have. Because I think that if that is the practice that you're already doing, I don't know how big of an impact this is going to have for you if you already have higher standards. I mean, I'll tell you this, if the whole thing goes down and Cal OSHA still exists, because remember, this is a federal level one, and Cal OSHA still exists in good old Cali, their standards are normally higher on the way that they set stuff. And I know some people are not going to like that one, but think about it. Think about it for a moment.
Oops, what did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Embrace a daily boost of nature with Field of Greens. Discover the simple power of one scoop to elevate your well-being. Enjoy the flavor that appeals to you the most and let the blend of organic fruits and vegetables enhance your life. Experience the following benefits with Field of Greens. Noticeable energy increase to power you throughout the day. Improved quality of sleep. Enhanced digestive comfort and a general uplift in your wellness. Field of Greens stands out with the selection of organically grown ingredients, each carefully picked for its benefits to your heart and overall health. We are confident that you'll appreciate the benefits of Field of Greens. If it doesn't meet your expectations, we offer a straightforward money-back guarantee. Jumpstart your health journey with a special offer, 15% off your first purchase plus complimentary expedited shipping. Just visit fieldofgreens.com and use the code SAFETYFM to redeem your discount. That's SAFETYFM at fieldofgreens.com. Experience nature's touch at fieldofgreens.com Facebook.com/Safety FM. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at RadioBig.fm.
I just wanna feel better. I'm a decorated veteran and let me down. It's been a long stretch of weather.
Okay, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out here on Radio Big and on Safety FM. This song right here is After Hours by the Woanderer. You can give it a little streamer-eamer action if you'd like to. And the fun part is you can give it some download on YouTube, Apple Music. I already said YouTube Music. And, of course, Spotify. We would like to thank the Woanderer for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep, always a good time as we are exploring musica just for you, no doubt there, as we are talking. Whoa, as we are talking, that's for sure. Hey, apparently the music didn't want to go away because you know what they say, when the music's over, turn off the light. If you haven't heard that one, you need to listen to some Doors. I'll just put it to you that way. Okay, so let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, and suicide. That's TWLOHA.com. TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Let's continue talking a little bit about some things that are going on, of course, today. So, it goes something along these lines. Sounds like this, of course. It turns out that our parents were right when they told you to get some sleep and deal with it in the morning, because when you're probably at your best is when you're at your best, according to the University of College London. Researchers analyzed data points from about 50,000 people, and results show that the trend of people generally reporting better mental health and well-being earlier in the day with less severe depression symptoms and increased happiness, life satisfaction, and sense of self-worth. On average, people feel worse late at night. Most evidence show that that late morning is the best time for problem solving, and that the mood is relatively stable at that time as well, making it easier to handle through topics such as to have more of a level head. Let's put it that way. They could be could be right. By late morning, I've had a chance to pour 7 or 8 cups of coffee down my throat, and so I'm probably most likely at my best time to do anything I wouldn't regret. So there you go. But it's Monday. So aren't I already dealing with enough? I mean, that's maybe one way to take a look at it.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh yeah, before I forget, I should probably bring this up to you. This Friday, it's Valentine's Day. So if you have a significant other, just trying to give you a heads up, that way you don't screw it up. I mean, in regards of cards, scheduling something, planning something out, I don't know. It's Valentine's Day coming up right around the corner. Just saying. That way you remember what the hell is going on. Because if not, it could become difficult. Anyway, so let's talk about this. Super Bowl excuses for the people that lost, the team that lost. Depression pregame pep talk by Mitch McConnell. Their quarterback kept looking one way, then throwing the other. Started giving 109% instead of 110%. Should have made the tails our final answer during the coin toss. Shouldn't have skipped breakfast. It's almost important meal of the day. Is the most important meal of the day. The refs weren't calling the mask violations among the other team's coaching staff. Hey, did that run turn around for about 150 pounds of tub of goo? I don't know. The big guys on the other team kept on trying to knock us down. Are these even good? I don't even think they're good. So there you go. Maybe your team won. Maybe your team lost. I don't know. Is it something that's important to you, especially on this show? I'm going to say no. Probably isn't. So with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we start going into the whole thing that we need to talk about and get into some John Smalls and let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute? Because I think that that's going to be important right now. So let's do that. Seriously.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Tim. Tony Robbins said, "We can change our lives. We can do, have, and be exactly what we wish." I love this. Are you living the life that you want to live? If not, why not? Who's in your way? Is it you? I know I've been in my own way many times. We made a change recently that my wife wanted to make a long time ago. I fought this for a while, but for a solid decade, we have a division of our company that has lost money every month. Now, we make up for it elsewhere, but at what point do we change? My wife wanted to make the change a long time ago, and I finally agreed after a decade. And it's still a hard decision to make.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your motivational quotes can be submitted for an upcoming program at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Inevitably, the thoughts and feelings we harbor in our hearts become the attitudes and actions of our lives. Early on, they are just seeds scattered across the soil of our heart. With a minimum effort, we can sweep them away. But if we delay, or worse yet, if we nurture them, they will take root. Even then, we can uproot them, but if we do not act quickly, they will overwhelm us. Ephesians 4 says, "Do not give the devil an opportunity to lead you into sin by holding a grudge, or nurturing anger, or harboring resentment, or cultivating bitterness." Lord Jesus, help us to deal ruthlessly with our thoughts and attitudes. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
Hamas militants have released 3 Israeli hostages in frail condition, while Israel has freed nearly 200 Palestinian prisoners as part of a Gaza ceasefire agreement. The hostages' severe malnutrition has sparked outrage in Israel, increasing pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu regarding the ceasefire's future.
The ceasefire's initial phase includes releasing 33 hostages and nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, along with boosting humanitarian aid to Gaza. Upcoming negotiations are expected to be more complex, focusing on further hostage releases and potentially establishing a lasting ceasefire. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Lebanon has formed its first full-fledged government since 2022, ending a prolonged political deadlock. Prime Minister Nawaf Salam announced the new administration aiming to restore confidence domestically and internationally. Joseph Eckerson reports.
Salam pledged to implement reforms to address Lebanon's ongoing economic crisis and to oversee the reconstruction of areas damaged during the recent conflict with Israel. This development marks a significant step toward political stability in the country.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has confirmed a new offensive in Russia's Kursk region, reporting significant enemy casualties. He also noted the presence of North Korean troops fighting alongside Russian forces.
The Russian Defense Ministry stated that it had repelled the Ukrainian counterattack in Kursk. Meanwhile, Moscow claimed to have captured the mining city of Toretsk in Donetsk, though Ukrainian authorities have not confirmed this. Liam White reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
A small commuter plane that crashed in Alaska was found and has resulted in the deaths of 10 individuals. Kyle Norris reports.
The wreckage was located approximately 30 miles southeast of Nome after an extensive search involving multiple agencies. Recovery efforts are underway ahead of anticipated severe weather conditions, and the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the cause of the crash.
The Trump administration has announced the eviction of several prominent news organizations from their workspaces at the Pentagon. Outlets such as CNN and the Washington Post are being replaced by others perceived as more favorable to the administration, Lawrence Keller reports.
The Pentagon Press Association has criticized the decision, calling it unreasonable and expressing disappointment that offers to accommodate all outlets were ignored.
Lasers are being used to aid in the search for debris following a fatal collision between a passenger plane and an Army helicopter near Washington, D.C. A plane equipped with laser technology is scanning the bottom of the Potomac River to locate smaller pieces of wreckage.
Large parts of the wreckage have already been
recovered, including the remains of the 67 victims. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the cause of the collision, which is the deadliest U.S. aviation accident since 2001. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here you go. 55 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2015 on this date, Jon Stewart announces that he'll be leaving The Daily Show at the end of the year. He hosted the show for 16 years, and he would later return in 2024 to host the show once per week ahead of the presidential election. That happened back on this date in 2015. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Yara Sharidi turns 25. Chloe Moritz turns 28. Trayvon Johnson, the football player, just in case, turns 30. Mackenzie Vega turns 31. Emma Roberts, 34. Vic Fuentes, 42. Justin Gatlin turns 43. Barry Sloan turns 44. Don Omar turns 47. Elizabeth Banks, 51. Laura Dern, 58. Bob Iger turns 74. Mark Spitz turns 75, and Robert Wagner turns 95. So there you go. If you're looking for some birthdays to celebrate. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Houseplant Appreciation Day and National Bittersweet Chocolate Day, because it's a bittersweet symphony is the way that it works. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, Happy Football Hangover Day to those who celebrate. Yeah, doesn't Carl's Jr. have like a hangover hamburger today that they're selling that you can get for free or some weird crap? I don't remember. I think you have to do something with their app. Anyways, what else? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the most frustrating product you own? The squeeze tube that leaks all over the place. Cheap pens. Convenient zip closures that don't stink work. The fact that you need about four remote controls to control everything. Just asking. And then what's the last one? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 1/4 of us don't know how to do this to our car. What is it? Change the clock. Yeah, the clock. You know, the timer, a little time thing. Don't worry, I have a friend that I've been over to their house, and I think that they don't even know how to change the microwave time. The excuse every time I bring it up is electricity goes out frequently. How frequently? I mean, that's kind of scary. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. I'll be talking about the lovely music and news stuff that's going on. Entertainment news, mostly. If you hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. So you have some options there. So thank you for hanging out with me this morning. You are always the best part of Radio Big and Safety FM, and that is because you are the listener. Without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Do what is easy and your life will be hard. Do what is hard and your life will become easy. Yep. Something to think about, that's for sure. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.